Hey crafty friends, Jen Cascell here. I am back with a Halloween flower tutorial for ScrapDiva Designs. As always, here is the website and all of her info on the back. Make sure to use that hashtag ScrapDiva Designs for some amazing inspiration. And if I've inspired you in any way, feel free to use my coupon code JEN10 for 10% off your purchase at the shop. I super appreciate it. I do get a small kickback and it helps me continue to do the things that I love to do and that I hope you like to see. So let's get started. We are doing some of these flowers. Super pretty. Sorry if there's some background noise. I've tried doing this like 5 times today and my neighbors and their mowers are not cooperating. Ugh. All right, so we're going to be focusing on this new die set. This is from the August release at ScrapDiva Designs. This is the Embellishment Book box. We are not going to be making an embellishment book. We're going to be using the flowers that come with the set. This set has a ton of flowers. So you've got 12 flower die. You've got 4 of each, small, medium, and large, and then you also have 4 leaves that come with it as well. In addition to your book die, as well as it's made with love, that's your sentiment on it. So you get a ton of dies, really good value. In my basic toolkit for creating paper flowers, I always use styluses. I love having a variety of sizes. This is actually a clay set. I find that they're cheaper when you get the ones that are made for clay versus the ones that are made for paper, and there's absolutely no difference. Generally speaking, the larger the flower, the larger the stylus you're going to want to use with it. That's why I like to have a few different sizes on hand. I am always keeping my bone folder close by so I can curl my petals a slightly different way. Tweezers are always nice to have around. You're also going to want a little mini mister. So this one is from Ranger. It just delivers just the right amount of water. You don't want to drench them. I like having a silicone spatula on hand, especially since we're going to be doing some glitter. And speaking of glitter, I am going to be using this glitter. It's a Stickles. And Stardust is the name of it. It's super pretty, iridescent. And then I also pulled some silver stickles as well. For your flower centers, I pulled a bunch of stuff. So I do have some silver glitter foam balls on hand. And then I'm also going to use some stamens. So I have some silver and black stamens here. Now, if you don't have a specific color in your stash, for instance, I was looking through my stash last night when I was prepping for all these flowers and I realized I didn't have black stamens. That's okay too. I color my stamens all the time and it's super easy to do. So you're going to want to grab some alcohol ink. I love Barely Art alcohol ink. Yes, they do sell it. You can use my coupon code JENNCASCELL to save. So I will take a couple drops of alcohol ink inside a little Dixie cup. You'll want some 91% isopropyl alcohol to do this, and then just mix a couple drops of the alcohol ink with a couple drops of the alcohol. I usually start at about a 1-to-3 ratio, and then I kind of go from there. Mix it up and then just pop your stamens inside. If they're not as opaque as what you'd like, know that you got to add a little more alcohol ink to it. But it's super easy to do. Because it's alcohol ink, it dries really quickly and there's no transfer at all. For these ones, I also used a lot of littles on the flowers just to give them a little interest. So I pulled some of these from my stash. These are some spiders, and while I was dyeing my stamens last night, I used a little bit more of that alcohol ink to dye one of these spiders just to see how it worked. I thought it turned out great. You'll also see I have one of these little eyeballs left in my stash from last year, and those were from the Target dollar spot, and I thought they made a really, really cool flower. So look at how that turned out. Super cute, right? And it's got one of those spiders on it. I also have some of these little like confetti bats here. I have some more bats. These are nail art. I got these off Temu. I pulled some of these cute stars and moon sequins mix that I had sitting there. I thought they could be cool. And I also pulled a spider web stamp from my stash. And that's how I created the pattern on this one. Really cool, right? Okay. And of course, you're going to want some ink. I have black and white ink, depending on what flower that I'm going to use. And then I also pulled, I have a couple of these spider web die cuts. This is the this is the Mintopia spider web that Erica sells in the shop. I don't know if she still has any of that left, but if she does, I'll link it in the description box. And then I also have, this is actually one of my favorite punches. I know it's old school, but I absolutely love to use this. It's super versatile. I did it in black this time around, but I use it all the time, like during the holiday season. It's really good for Christmas too. I don't know if they still sell this. I'm sure there's a lot of die cuts out there that are pretty similar to it. Maybe even Erica has one, but I just love the punches because they're so easy. So let's again take a quick look at what we're creating. So cool, right? I've decided that this Halloween, I am just going to bring the sparkle and shine. When I'm working on paper flowers, I like to work on a variety of surfaces. So you're also going to want to have some foam. So this is what I use to work on, to shape my flowers. You can buy this, but I mean, don't buy it, guys. This is from shipping boxes from medical supplies that I grabbed from my office. I have an endless supply of it. That's what I use. Just look around the house. I'm sure you have some kind of foam. You don't need to buy this. It's kind of silly. I like to have a silicone surface available too. That's what I like to stick my flowers to while they're drying so that you can pull them right up. But usually when I'm flower making, when it comes to actually putting the flowers together, I like to work on glass. So I'm going to switch over to the other area of my island and we'll get started with the tutorial. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is stamp a couple of these. And I'm just using my stamping platform for this. I'm not stamping all of them. I'm just doing a couple. I have all of my flowers flipped over and I'm just going to squirt it with a little bit of water. I have these flipped upside down because I'm still going to flip them back up. I just want to add a little dimension to the leaves. So you can see I'm using a relatively large stylus on these flowers and I'm just poking down the petals to cup them. You could also do a rolling motion like this. And remember, the smaller the stylus you're using, the larger the cup you're going to make with these petals. Okay, when you have all of your flowers starting to form, I'm actually going to leave this one like this. I'm going to do that one a little different. You can flip them over. I've already done these black ones off camera and I used a white ink for them. And now I'm just pressing down the centers. Now grab your hot glue. I like to have my tweezers on hand for this part. And we're going to start layering these up. You just want to make sure that your petals are kind of variegated. So you get a little bit showing through on each one. Also take the time to shape a few of these leaves. Okay, well, those are starting to dry. I'm going to add a little spray to these and grab my stylus once again, and I'm just going to do one long line, okay? You can pull it up, you can pull it to back, it's totally up to you. You'll get the same effect. I am pressing a little more on the outside than I am on the inside. That motion is also creating a cool pattern on the leaf edge too. Once again, I'm not going to go really heavy with this. I don't want it as cupped as my flowers. So I'm just inverting it, just like that. I can't remember if I said this in the opening, but you will need a small piece of wire to complete the stamens. So I just have a scrap piece of wire that I folded in half, and make sure your point is you know, sharp and put together. It doesn't have to be perfect by any means, but you want it small enough that you can get it through your flower center without a problem, because you're also going to have quite a bit of bulk from your stamens. So just grab a clump of stamens. I don't count them. I just kind of take a look and see how it feels. Obviously, once again, the larger the flower, the more stamens you're going to want for the center. And I'm just going to I'm evening them up a little bit so they don't look wonky. Now I've put it around my finger like this. Come in with your wire and slide that wire underneath and pull it all the way to the top, okay? And that's what you should have. And just pop it right through the center. Pull it through until they're right about the height that you want. Grab a pair of scissors and cut it just about flush with the base of your flower. Add a little hot glue to the bottom and then put it down on your silicone. That silicone is going to give you a nice release. Grab a handful. Twist it around. Even it up. Insert it into the base and pull all the way up. There we go. This one I'm going to do some foam balls for. So I'm going to get out my Barely Art glue for this, and I'm just going to add 3 dots where I want my flower centers to be. So now this is a smaller flower, so I'm not going to use nearly as many stamens. start adding our flowers to our leaves. I know I have more flowers than leaves, and that's okay. I don't want to put leaves on all of them. Decorating these, and I'm going to add some of these little branch punches. I think they just look really cool and spooky in the black. And I'm putting those in between the petals or at the base of the petal. It's totally up to you. Gosh, so I put it on my tray when I saw it. I wasn't sure if I was gonna use it, but I kind of like this a lot. And this is a die from ScrapDiva. That's part of the leaf branches. I'm going to add a couple of these. And as you can see, I've been kind of taking these apart. I'll show you. So I've been taking them apart like that. Or you could just add it to the base like this. I had already taken a chunk off of this, as you can see. So you don't need a whole thing. Use your scrap. So I cut that down, and then that's cool. I like that. Next, we're going to start applying the stickles. I don't like to put mine on with the bottle. I do use a silicone brush and paint it on essentially. So you want it to be kind of thin in some places. You don't want it to be super, super chunky. And that's why I find the silicone brush is a little easier to do like large spaces at once. So I'm just gonna start brushing it onto the flower. I'm really hitting the tips of the petals as well as the leaves. Next, you're going to see me get out the silver stickles, and I'm not going to use the brush technique that I showed you last time. This time I'm going to apply it directly from the bottle and just hit the edges of the petals and some of the spider web. Let's take one last look at what we made. Let's take one last look at all these flowers. So good. So good. Love. So sparkly. All right, so thank you so much for watching. If I've inspired you in any way, please feel free to use my coupon code JEN10 for 10% off your purchase at the shop. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments and I'd be happy to get back to you. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more crafty content. I'll see you in the next crafty video. Bye!